And it's time for Lefties Losing It, and the Democrats and their radical violent wing are reminding the world tonight why Donald Trump won the election in a landslide, winning every swing state, the popular vote and the all-important Electoral College with a massive margin of 312 to 226 votes. And the heart of Trump's America First agenda was ending the illegal immigration crisis and deporting the millions who flooded in illegally in recent years. And you will not find a better ad for that policy than the scenes in LA right now. Yes, the lawless thugs are demonstrating precisely why they should be deported and why those who break the law to support them should be locked up. As the National Guard is called in to restore order, the fires continue to burn. Some of these fires have been burning for so long that the cars are almost gone. Look at that. But authorities, the National Guard, will restore order as these rioters found out. Some of these rioters found out.
Coming out. They're coming out. They're coming out. Watch out.
And while the Mexican flag was proudly flying throughout these protests, the American flag was really nowhere to be seen unless it was being set alight. Yes, they proudly fly the Mexican flag, but they burn the American one as they riot to stop being deported to Mexico and other countries they hold in higher esteem than America. This is the left. It's what they do, whether it's Antifa, BLM or these lawless thugs. Remember, the violence from the left intensified as soon as Trump became president the first time.
You all right, boss?
Police had to push back the protesters so firefighters could get to the flames.
Watch out! Hey, Beasley! Come over.
Small fires had appeared all day. This upped the temperature, which of course was the point.
One demonstrator threw a flashbang grenade back at police. It exploded in an officer's face.
Plenty of tear gas. 6 officers reportedly injured.
Funny how that was never called an insurrection. The Democrats have always fanned this sort of violence. They have incentivised it, they have defended it. And even as LA descends into violence and chaos, they are calling for more. Here's Democrats' LA City Council member Hernandez telling protesters, rioters really, to escalate their tactics.
They know how quickly we mobilize. That's why they're changing tactics. Because community defense works and our resistance has slowed them down before. And if they're escalating their tactics, then so are we. When they show up, we gotta show up even stronger.
And LA Mayor Karen Bass also defended the protest and trumpeted LA's sanctuary city status.
We are going to fight for all Angelenos, regardless of when they got here, whether they have papers or not. We are a city of immigrants, and this impacts hundreds of thousands of Angelenos.
You know, it was only last year when Democrat Congresswoman Maxine Waters was accusing Trump of being divisive and engaging in dangerous rhetoric.
I am going to spend some time with the criminal justice system, with the justice system, asking them, tell us what's going on with the domestic terrorists. Are they preparing a civil war against us? Should we be concerned about our safety? What is he doing with this divisive language? It is dangerous, and we're going to have to make sure that we understand that we're not at risk with this man talking in the way that he's doing.
Oh, Maxine Waters had plenty of fears, fevered dreams about Trump and his supporters starting trouble. But it's the left, always the left, resorting to violence, and right there to defend the protesters and defend the rights of illegal immigrants to stay in the country illegally was the Congresswoman. Let's have a listen to Maxine Waters.
He's using deportation as a way to enhance his position with all of those right-wingers out there who do not want this country to be a country of people coming from other places. It's outrageous, it is horrible, and we've got to make sure that we do everything that we possibly can, because I think he's up to creating martial law. He even alluded to civil war.
He alluded to civil war. This from the woman who has long championed feral behaviour, who has called for her ideological opponents to be harassed and intimidated, even when they're out for dinner. And now, as California descends into lawless, violent protest, she's fanning the flames with this sort of talk. Here she is asked about the National Guard being called in to restore order.
What do you think about the National Guard being here, Trump deploying them and not our own governor?
Well, the thing about it is, I don't know why they're here with guns. Whom are they going to shoot, and for what? Why the guns? Why are these guns here? That's my question. I don't get why the guns have to be here. We're a sanctuary city. We know Trump doesn't like us. We know that he's going to try to use us as an example.
Is she kidding? Why the guns? Why are they there? Because violent miscreants have taken over the streets. They're attacking law enforcement and generally being lawless thugs. Does she expect the National Guard to go in there with teddy bears and hug these criminals into submission? And if that wasn't enough, Maxine then showed up at a detention centre and tried to use her congressional authority to gain access. It didn't go too well. As the kids say, not today, Satan.
No, I want you to... Hello, hello, hello. Congresswoman Waters, I just came to use my congressional authority to check on visitors.
Ma'am, we're lobbying securely now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public affairs.
I need to get in.
That was pretty delicious footage at the end there. Joining me now is American Culture Project Senior Fellow and School Choice Advocate Corey DeAngelis. Corey, Donald Trump couldn't have hoped for a better advertisement for his deportation program than the violent uprising we're seeing in California right now.
Yes, this is a great advertisement for Trump's deportation program, but it's also a great advertisement for the Republican Party in general. The Republicans already beat the Democrats on the issue of immigration overwhelmingly in the last election, and now this is only going to cement that view in voters' minds. You look at the images from Los Angeles, it's a war zone right now, and it's because the Democrats can't keep their house in order. You look at Democrat-run cities. We saw this in 2020 with the George Floyd protest. They were burning cities all across the country. You had mainstream media calling it mostly peaceful protests that were fiery, and we're seeing the same kind of problems right now. And you have Gavin Newsom trying to tell Trump to call off the National Guard. They're siding with the criminals. They're against the victims in these situations. They are against personal property rights. They're with the looters. And, you know, voters don't like this stuff. They're paying taxes. They want to be protected. They don't want criminals roaming the streets. You see the Mexican flag being flown all across Los Angeles. This is supposed to be America, not Mexico. And so this is only providing more advertising for Trump's efforts, because, you know, one of his main arguments is that a lot of the immigrants are not assimilating with American culture. You see them in these photographs and these videos with flags that aren't even the American flag. I mean, it's making Trump's point for him.
Well, we've seen scenes of them burning the American flag. That's the only time I've seen the American flag in these protests, is when it was being burnt. And You're right. Where is Governor Newsom? He seems to be doing more harm than good. The local authorities seem to have run soft on this as well, releasing ridiculous statements saying they're peaceful protest. And they seem to be completely unprepared for the violence of the left, even though we see it often enough. And you mentioned the Mexican flag. I think this image really summed up the protest. You can see the lineup of police cars in this image, shrouded in thick black smoke, and you've got a mass protest there flying the Mexican flag. This, to me, Corey, is just the height of absurdity. These people are flying the Mexican flag and violently protesting to avoid being deported to Mexico. If you love Mexico so much that you're flying their flag on American soil, why are you so opposed to going back there?
Yeah, look, this is an invasion. It's an insurrection, if you want to take the words from the left and use it right against them. But look, I mean, this Los Angeles is supposed to be the home of the 2028 Summer Olympics. And all we have right now is their public officials using mental gymnastics to defend the criminals, the rapists, and the murderers, and not the victims of all these crimes. So, you know, we already forecast in 2030 that California is going to lose 4 electors because they're losing population already. More people are going to flee California. They have beautiful beaches. They have a great weather, but they're still losing population because they have numbskulls running their state into the ground.